Hello guys, welcome back to my another tutorial. So this time I'm starting with the Android tutorials now. So from now on I would be uploading Android tutorials as well, which would help you to develop Android apps from the scratch and slowly developing complex applications. I will be uploading some videos on robotic operating system as well, which is ROS, which is upcoming platform for all robotics. And later on we can also see some projects wherein we integrate Android with or interface Android with ROS and IoT concepts as well. So to begin with, I'm starting with a very basic Android applications, which will have a text view here, as you can see, and a button. And the goal of this tutorial is to whenever you click the button, the text written here should change as it is changing now. Okay, so let's start with the implementation. So I have my Android Studio open. I believe that you all have the Android Studio IDE installed already in your PC, and you all have all the packages and everything up to date. I am not including a tutorial of how to install this and set up the platform because it is pretty straightforward process, and I guess from Google you can get links and tutorials how to do it. So I am starting this project with an empty activity. So you just have to click the file, new, and then you can select the empty activity, and you can give any name for your app. I have given the name as tutorial 1. So let's start with the implementation. So when you open the new empty activity, you will have two files getting created automatically, which is the main activity.java. This is where we write the code, and activity main.xml is a layout file where we design the app. So you can navigate to the layout file in this folder, resources, layout, and inside that you have the activity main.xml. Okay, let's start. So what we need is a basic text view. As you can see here, we need a text view here. This is called a text view wherein you display the text, and this is called a button on which you click. So we need a text view and a button in a layout. So let's start with it. So by default, every time you prepare or you start an empty activity, you will already have a text view in it written as hello world. If you want, you can keep this and change the text later on, or you can delete this and then come up with a new one. So as of now, let's keep it there itself, and then I am adding a button as well from this. So I'll drag the button and I'll put it here. Okay, now our layout is ready. Now we have to align this and make this as per our needs. For that, go to this text section under this layout files. So now here you have all these details, and this will show you how your app would be looking like in your phone when you start it. So I am not a fan of constraint layouts, to be honest, so I would change this to relative layout. You can use whichever layout you want. The advantage of relative layout is that each element would be in a position which is relative to the nearby elements. So now once we change this to relative layout, you can see that the button, the text view, everything went to one corner. Now that's not how we want it, so we have to place it in the center. So for that, what we do is we'll first change this layout parent alignment as layout center and parent. You select that, and then you click through, the button comes to the center. Now we need this text view to be somewhere above the button. So for that, what you can do is you can come here and you can type something as above, and then you get an option called Android layout above. You select that, and then you give the ID of the element above which you want the text view to be placed. So that is the ID of the button. So the ID of the button is this. So we type it as ID and we name it as button. We give the ID of the button. Okay. Now we have the text view above the button, but still the text view is not in the center. For that, what we have to do is we can just copy paste the same thing into the text view attributes as well, so that it comes in the center. Okay. Now about the height and width of these elements. These are the two main important attributes for every element which you are going to design in your app, which tells you how much height and width should be given for that element. Now wrap content means it allocates the minimum possible height and width for the element, and there is one more option called match parent. So if I put it as match parent, that means the width of the element will be as much as possible in that layout. So now as you can see, it is going from one end to the other end. Now we don't want this end-to-end connection. We need a gap between this, from the border of the screen and the elements. For that, what you can do is there is an attribute called padding, which you have to add in the relative layout, in the whole layout section. So if you click on this relative layout, whatever is selected in blue color is actually the size of it. And if you click on text view, this blue color border is what is the size of the text view. And if you click on button, it shows how much area is occupied by the button as well. So now we need the padding all around the layout. Like from every direction we need some distance with the elements. For that, you have an attribute called padding, Android padding. You just add it and then you give the value how much you want. Let's put it as 16 dp. And now you can see the moment we add this line, the text view got shifted a bit at this end and at this end. Now this is perfect, right? Okay, now this size of this text view seems to be pretty, congested. The height isn't enough. For that, what you can do is leave the width as match parent, because let the width be as much as possible, and the height, instead of wrap content, we can change it to any specific value which you want. So let me put it as 50. So now the height of the box got increased, and now this is visually more appealing. Now if you want, you can drag this button a bit down, it's not a problem, or you can move this above. Now when you move this above, another attribute automatically gets added to the text view saying that layout margin bottom. Now this margin bottom value is with respect to button, because we have already assigned that this layout is going to be above button. So this margin bottom, the margin between the bottom of the text view and to the next relative element, is 28 dp. That's what it means. Now next one is we need to change this text hello world. For that, we just have to update this one here, and let's put it as Android tutorial, yeah. And then I need this text to be at the center of the text view. For that, you have something called gravity. You put the gravity and you put it at center, the text comes to the center. Now I want the color of the text to be changed. Put it as text color. And in Android Studio, when you start, you already have some sort of predefined colors in it. Later on, you can actually add your own colors into a file called colors.xml. I will be covering those parts in some other upcoming tutorials. As of now, let's use an existing color. I would select it as color accent. Now the color of the text got changed. Now I need to increase the size of the color as well, size of the text as well. For that, you have an attribute called text size. You select that, and then maybe you can give it as 16, or maybe let's say 20. It's big enough. Yeah, 20 dp. Okay, alright. So now we have the layout ready, the text view is ready, the button is ready. Oh wait, we have to update the button text as, click here. If you want, you can give any text there. It's not at all a problem. You can give any text there, and if you want to increase the size of this button, you can change these two attributes and increase and put the size of whatever size you want. Okay, so now let's go to the main activity file, Java file, wherein we code it and make the app work. So initially we need to declare two variables of type of our elements. So we have two elements which are of type text view and button. So we initially create a variable called button and another one called text view. Okay, now if you're starting for the first time, you will see this red error here. You can just solve it by clicking on it, and as it tells you, just press Alt Enter, and then you have something called import class. Select it. So the class which supports the button will get imported here automatically. Similarly for text view as well, we just have to press Alt Enter and import class. It gets imported. Now we need to assign the element to this variables. Only then the app will work. Now there are two variables which we have created, button and text view, but it doesn't know where is this button and where is this text view lying, or to which button and to which text view is it referencing to. So for that, we have to map the elements in our layout to the local variables which we have created. To do that, what we do is we call the button a variable and we typecast it to button itself. Okay, and there is an API called find view by ID. We call that, and inside the find view by ID, we give the parameter to the ID of the button which we created in the layout file. Now R stands for the resource file, which is this directory, and ID is nothing but this ID which we have given here. So the ID of this element is button. So we are assigning this button in this file. Okay, similarly we have to do it for the text view as well. Text view is equal to retypecasted, casted, and find view by id r.id dot text view. What was the id which we had given here? I'm sorry for that. Okay, we did give an id here which we are supposed to give, so we added as Android id and id, and let's name it as text view. Okay, and this text view can be given here, text view. Cool. Now what's next? The job of this application is that whenever we click on the button, it has to toggle the text. Okay, so how do we know that we have clicked the button? For that, Android has a built-in API or methods, overriding methods called onClickListener. So you just have to assign this onClickListener to the element which you want, or to the element which you're gonna click. So this onClickListener, what it does is it will wait for that element to be clicked by the user, and when the user clicks the element, it calls this method. Okay, for that we need the onClickListener on the button, because we are going to click on the button. So we let button set onClickListener. Inside that we are calling a new onClickListener. Okay, that's it. Now the remaining frame of the code will be generated by the Android tree automatically. Now in this method is where we give what the app should do when the user clicks on the button. So for that, let's have a flag of type boolean, and let's say toggle text, and animation let's say it as true. Okay, now whenever I click the button, I have to see whether I've toggled the text once or not. So if toggle text would take me inside if the toggle text value is true. If the value is true, then let's change the text on the text view to something else. For that we call text view. This text view is nothing but the same text view here, dot set text, and we call it as share the video. Okay, and we have to reset the flag to false. Now what about next time? Now next time when you click it, the toggle text has gone to the value as false, so this if loop will not get executed. So we have to come with an else part, and inside that we change the text to something else. Let's see, please subscribe. Okay, and then we change the flag back to true. Now whenever you click on the button, the text would change, toggle between share the video and please subscribe. Okay, now let's run this on our virtual machine and see how the app is going to behave. For that, click on this play button, and then that will launch your virtual machine. In my case is Nexus 6P, and I click OK, and let's wait for the virtual machine to load up and come up with the app. So there you go, the app which we just created has been launched now. And now let's try clicking on the button and see whether the text is toggling. Yes, it's toggling. There you go. So share the video and please subscribe. Whenever you click on it, it keeps changing. Okay, I hope I explained it pretty well. So thanks a lot for watching my videos, and thanks a lot for all your support. You guys have been supporting me a lot. I'll be uploading more tutorials shortly. So please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and if you like my videos, please do share it. And I would request you all to please comment on the ideas or the topics or the apps which you want support in, or which you want me to prepare a tutorial on, so that I can come up with a tutorial and we both can have a win-win situation. So yes, thanks a lot for watching again, and please do subscribe, and let's stay in touch. Thank you.